This conference will now be recorded.
Eric, I sent you that memo that I wanted to send to that lady after the broadband conference.
Uh-huh.
Haven't heard a word from her. Kind of surprised me.
I'll follow up with her and see what, I'll send her one as well. But yeah, we might need to I don't know if they know with COVID and Labor Day and everything, maybe she just got busy, but I'll send
It could be. It was a week ago Sunday that I sent it, so that could be. Hi, Elaine.
Hi. Oh my gosh, Meredith, are you with your dad in the hospital? Oh my. You're a dedicated employee.
Hope everything's going well.
Sorry. Hi, Chris from Retail Strategies.
Hello. I had to figure out how to take myself off mute.
It's tricky on every call.
Are you on a?
I was just talking to Madison. This is like the 10th different program we use. So
Yeah.
Does this work like Zoom where you just press down the key? No, it doesn't. In Zoom, you just press down the space key, and it unmutes you. Hi, Gage.
Oh, that's pretty handy. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, on Zoom you can.
No, you learn something every day.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't have all the fancy backgrounds on GoToMeeting either.
Yeah, my wife comes up with those too. She looks like she's sitting on a beach and all that kind of stuff. But I know better.
Hey guys, this is Russ Murphy. I am here, but I don't have video. I'm actually in the car.
How you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
You came in anonymously as caller 01.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
You came in anonymously as caller 01, so I'm glad you identified it. I wondered who you were.
Well, I apologize. I'm glad I was trying to remember the meeting ID and I couldn't remember it. I'm glad that when I just hit dial, it dialed the whole thing and got me in. So
Good.
That's great.
I couldn't figure out how to adjust the name.
Well, Russ, is the mortgage business really keeping you busy? The rates are so low?
Yes. Yeah. We are slammed and hiring and doing everything we can to keep up.
Well, good for you.
You can
We're
show
trying.
your face.
We're trying.
You can show your face, Russ. We know you're on the beach in Florida. You still on Labor Day. You can show your face.
Actually, I am driving through a canyon in Utah right now. Our home office is out here, and I'm going camping out here and then going to the home office in the morning, and then got a wedding to go to tomorrow night, and then we'll start the trek back to Texas.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Definitely. Safe travels to you, my friend.
Likewise, we appreciate that. Well, hey, I'll get out of the way. You're probably ready to get started, but I just wanted to let you know I was here.
All right, and what we'll do is I'm gonna go ahead and I think Clive had give him another minute. I don't see him on. Maybe
I don't either.
Well, I know he saw Gage's notes, and approved them, so yeah. I'm sure he's coming on.
And Julie is not going to be on. I do know that. And I will tell if Meredith, we appreciate you getting on, Meredith. Meredith is with her father. He's ill right now. Meredith, if you need to get off or cut your camera off, please feel free to do. Our prayers are with you and your father. So do what you need to do on that, definitely.
So Eric, did you have anybody have a problem with the hurricane?
Yeah, actually, I was in Louisiana for a funeral last weekend and had no power and low water pressure. So the whole time I was there, it was no power, no electricity. So I was in the dark most of the time, and people were And some people still don't have power back. I know in Winfield, Louisiana, I was just talking to my buddy, high school buddy, and they still don't have power.
Wow.
Yeah.
After Hurricane Hugo hit us down in the Caribbean, that was many years ago. My franchisee in St. Croix didn't have electricity for 6 months.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's brutal.
Can you imagine? Yeah, it's bad news.
Well, I'm gonna be efficient to everyone's time, so I'm gonna go ahead and fly ahead and jump on. I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order at 4:06 p.m.
Mhm.
So we'll get a motion to approve the minutes from the previous. Everybody got, I think, Gage sent out the meeting. Everybody get a copy of the meetings. Any changes or anything need to be added to the meeting? If not, we can look for a motion, a second of approval.
I move that we accept the notes as written.
I second it.
All right. Moving to item number 2, we have retail strategy. Chris is on here with us, and me and Chris both, and Madison, Chris counterpart at retail. We both, all three attended the retail live show, and I will turn it over to Chris at this point in time. You want to give us an update, and I can chime in as well.
Okay, perfect. Well, yeah, and I've got a couple other things I'll add on top of the retail live, but as Eric mentioned, he was able to attend as well, and I'm glad you were able to experience this strange new conference territory that we're getting into. So it basically looked like exactly like this, what we're looking at. The way that it was set up was prior to the meeting, they sent out the list of potential retailers that they would have that they had registered for the conference, and then you would go in there and by priority put your top 11 that you would like to potentially meet with. You send that to them, and then they mix and match you and get you in on the schedule. So and it was a little complicated because about halfway through you send your list in, they send you your confirmed meetings, and then some would drop out. There were a couple that I think there were 2 or 3 that ended up dropping out before the conference got started, but then they ended up getting to replace them with others, so they had some late additions. Total there were 29 brands that were represented at the conference, and I know Eric already sent you guys the specific feedback that you guys received. Let me pull so Eric's meetings were much like ours. So as you can imagine, you can request 11 meetings and there's only 29 retailers there. So as you can imagine, there is quite a bit of overlap. I'd say one of the most promising ones that we had and Eric had as well was Dunkin' Donuts. The lady from Dunkin' Donuts, they've had some advancements with their franchising, and I guess from what she's saying is they're about to name a new franchisee for your area, and then she personally is about to take over as real estate director for that for your region as well. And so that's actually very promising. One of the things that's going to really help drive that home is the fact that your Starbucks is doing so well, and these guys aren't going to want to, they're not going to want to leave all that market share up to Starbucks. So that's really promising. I say hit or miss, and I'll let Eric chime in on this just so he could give his thoughts as well. But it was, I guess, for what it was, it was good. I mean, we got a lot of good traction coming out of it. It's good to touch base with some of these folks that you would normally see at an in-person show. Of course, it's tough to replace the in-person show where it would normally have 80, 90 participants. But with the new world that we live in, it was kind of a nice change of pace. It was good to talk to folks. What they would do is if you weren't in a specific meeting with a retailer or a real estate person, they'd put you out in the waiting room. So every once in a while, we'd see Eric, we'd see some other folks in the waiting room, so you could sit there and kind of talk to them. And it's interesting. I enjoyed it. It probably could have lasted a couple hours longer. And I hope that they expand upon it. If they can really expand upon it, work out some of the kinks, I think it could be very cool. Eric, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think it was even better for us to have myself and Chris and Madison was actually at the store. So 3 people talking about Lago Vista, because I got in with Chipotle and they said, hey, we just had 2 other people talking about Lago Vista. We need to kind of look at Lago Vista. So it kind of helped out having that part. But I agree with you. It was good, but there's some improvement because I didn't like getting just snapped out of my meeting would just end because your time would go and you had to go to the next meeting. They would just snap you out, not even give you no one, just boom, you gone.
Right.
So other than that, it was great, good and bad, but it's the first time they're doing it. Like we all dealing with COVID. So I think it was overall, it was a great meeting.
And I think, well, that's a good point with us attacking it from different angles too, was like the Dunkin' Donuts meeting, for example. That was my first meeting of the show, and then Eric had them about an hour later. So I was able to just text Eric and say, give him a heads up that this is what, this is what was said, this is how it went. So then he can go in there and try to either double down on the information that we gave them, or try to pry if they had any questions, maybe they weren't able to get to us, maybe they could ask Eric. And that was one of the ones that kept getting cut short, was the Dunkin' Donuts meeting. I think there just must have been a lot of folks trying to get to that lady, so it kept getting cut short on all of us. But I think overall, I'd give it a 90, because I think of course there's some room for improvement. As Eric mentioned, they kind of dump you out with, and then I think getting cut off wasn't the worst part. I think not giving any kind of warning was probably the worst part. They just didn't even tell you, and they push you back in the waiting room. But I think overall it was pretty positive. It's good and as far as the industry as a whole, everyone you're talking to, they were expanding somewhere. So I think if you look big picture, it's very positive that these brands they're actively investing money again. They're actively expanding. So I'll say overall it's pretty good. And then, I will say this, due to the holiday, normally the next 2 to 3 days after the conference would really be dedicated to follow up. So we're currently working through that stuff because of the Labor Day holiday, of course. So we don't completely have the complete picture from the show, but so it takes a few days, maybe a week or so after the show, to try to get some of that lingering feedback. Eric, have you gotten any feedback so far?
No, and I agree with you, Chris. They said it'd be a couple of days, and I actually have 2 other meetings from a couple of no-shows that told us in advance that they weren't going to be there. So they're setting up meetings for me to talk to them. I'm sure they're doing that on your end as well. So I will be meeting with, I think HT is one of them, and I forget the other one, but I'm setting up a couple other meetings that are going to happen as well.
Yeah, I've got the list. HTO was one that canceled on me. Inspire Brands is one. So Inspire Brands is one we were really trying to get a hold of. They represent you guys have a Sonic. They represent Sonic, Arby's, Jimmy John's, just a whole slew of Buffalo Wild Wings, a whole slew of folks. But they canceled on us. That was one we were really looking forward to for you guys, because we've had some active conversations with Jimmy John's. They've expressed interest in the community. So we were really hoping to be able to continue that conversation, but that was one where they sent us an email and said, please follow up with us. We'll dedicate a time since we're not able to attend the show.
Can I ask, what is HT?
So HTO is it's a relatively new brand. I think it's about 2 years old, and it's a company founded in Amarillo, Texas. And they started in Amarillo, and then they really expanded through a lot of these oil towns in West Texas. They've got a huge presence down in Midland and Odessa. And what they do is kind of picture a standalone Starbucks that sells nothing but water and different flavors of sweet tea, and they sell ice. Really, kind of, I mean, their model is really formed after kind of those working crews out in West Texas, but it's really expanding across the state now. And you can get they have 50 different kinds of sweet tea. So it's like a sweet tea version of Starbucks. Imagine that.
They're pretty covered. Any more questions for the retail live show anyone have? And Chris,
as we have some time to overcome the Labor Day weekend and follow up on the conference, then we'll send the follow-up information to Eric, of course.
Eric, with the people that you met, was there anyone that impressed you the most?
Could you repeat that? Am I say it one more time?
I said, with the people that you met at the show, were there anyone that really impressed you the most that was really interested in Lago?
The Dunkin' Donuts. I would go with Chris. Dunkin' brand was pretty much very interested. I actually like the Black Rifle Coffee Company, but they're kind of new. They just opened up their corporate in San Antonio. I think Lago's a little too small, but I really like their concept at this time. But Dunkin' Donuts, and also I was very interested in Smoothie King, and they're still looking at a franchisee as well, but nothing in concrete stone. But so Dunkin' brand and the Smoothie was the ones that I was impressed with.
Gotcha. Thank you.
I say the one real quick one that we have already been able to get some follow up with is through Sport Clips, and we actually sent them the former Snap Fitness space in the shopping center to Sport Clips. So that's one of the right now. That's one of the primary spaces we're pushing in front of folks. So that's in front of them. Well, now we're waiting. They responded back and asked us for info on potential locations in the community, so we sent that along.
And Chris,
Go ahead.
You want to touch on Burger King and Jimmy John's? I think you got a little follow up on that.
Yes. So let me pull this in. Hold on a second. So the Burger King, so I said Jimmy John's has expressed interest in the market previously. Burger King there are ongoing conversations, but they've actually had quite a bit of flux during the pandemic. They've changed a bunch of folks, and the girl that we've been working with most recently actually switched out again. And so we're at this point we have new points of contact that we've briefly talked to. Then their biggest thing was to say they're interested in the market, but they would like to be they want to be near the traffic, of course. The main location that any of these guys, like a Burger King or any of these standalone fast food restaurants, would be is the out parcel in front of your shopping center, of course. And I think that we talked about on our last meeting, one of the issues you guys have on that, it's just a little over an acre. That out parcel is fantastic for all kinds of stuff. But the issues you guys have there is that the bank that it's financed through has restrictions on the shopping center where they can't put anything on it right now unless it's a financial institution. And then they said unless something is submitted to them for approval, and then they do have the option to approve. But for some reason, I'm not sure how this came about, but the bank that it's financed through has restrictions on the site. So the property owners told us as we come across these potential users for it, just to send them along to them, and then maybe you can push this in front of the bank, and then the bank would maybe the bank would make an exception. Now, I couldn't remember if we talked to you guys about it last time. Do you guys know any of the backstory behind why the bank would put those restrictions on the site?
Which bank are we talking about?
He's talking about the out parcel next to CVS that was planned to be a bank and that was cleared for a bank. I didn't live here then, but David, you must know the backstory.
No, I don't.
You know, what's interesting to me is that I thought the guy who owned the whole shopping center, Mark Curry, I believe, I thought he bought that from the bank so that he could develop it, but maybe the restrictions came with the land.
Yeah, so that's what he's telling us. We're talking to both David and Mark Curry, and that's what they're saying. They're saying that the bank's restrictions are following the land, and so everything that comes along has to be put in front of the bank for approval.
Okay, someone explain to me how zoning is different than bank restrictions that come with the land.
So restrictions, zoning isn't put in place by the city. It's just for different types of uses, but then actual restrictions are they're deed specific, and you can prohibit use. So if the bank sold that, and I imagine that's probably what happened, is the bank owned it, sold it to the shopping center owner. Anytime you own a piece of property, you can file restrictions with the property when you sell it, and it follows the deed until forever. I mean, it can, until the person or the entity that placed the restrictions on the property, until they give it up, it can follow it forever. So that's how, so imagine like a Walmart say someone owns 200 acres and they sell 50 of it to a Walmart. As part of the purchase, Walmart may come in and say, well, we're only gonna buy this if you put general merchandise restrictions on your other 150 acres. And so, and then they end up having to put that on the deed in order to move forward. So you see that quite a bit, but I've never seen a bank do that. That one's pretty interesting.
What is interesting is there's a bank across the street. I mean, I would say kitty corner, but I mean, just across the street. And another thing that's changed since they cleared that land is that they installed the Bank of America kiosk to get money out. And that didn't used to be there.
Right.
Maybe that's not enough to change the restriction, but it's something that changed.
So
Right.
where is the piece of land that,
It's the CVS. It's already kind of flattened directly across from the Chamber building.
right?
It's on it, but there's a flattened, nice flattened piece of land there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying it must be a bank.
Mm-hmm.
They're too small for Wells Fargo. We have Security State Bank, we have Bank of America, and we have BBVA. That's too bad that restriction's on there.
Right. So, and let's say they said with really the only recourse we have is to submit these things, and hopefully that they'll make an exception to it. But it's tough. Forces us to have to work with them. Eric, do you want to transition and talk about the latest with the hotel group?
Yeah, that's fine. I was gonna bring it, go ahead. I was gonna talk about it, but we can go ahead and talk about that now.
Okay. Do you want to talk? If you want to talk about your tour, how the market visit went.
So we did have a market visit, myself and Josh, on Friday with a hotel developer. We got the connection through Chris on the retail strategist. They flew in, him and his son, father and son. We took them to the site right across from the new ETS site across on Bronco, where they're building that corner lot there. And they like that for a hotel, the visibility. They could see the lake, and they're going to do about 4 stories, is what they said, 3 to 4 stories. They like the lake visibility. They're having some problem again, like the banks that Elaine just said, and Chris knows that construction loans and commercial loans with the banks these days, they're not being the banks are being more restrictive with their money now with the COVID and things like that. So the construction of 2 banks in Lago, I told them to reach out to them. One is doing a construction loan, one is not. I gave them a couple other names. I think Chris is working with a bank on his end, also Wade in Alabama, that they're talking about. So the overall tour, they liked Lago Vista. They liked that corner lot there off of Bronco. Visibility. So we just in that process, still in the early process of that.
So where's that corner exactly?
The corner right there about the Bronco, with that Bronco, and that road where you can turn right there, that corner right there off of Bronco, right behind where the EMS is, that corner right there, what's the beside it right there, you turn right.
So that's right behind the Sonic, right?
Right, correct.
Right. Dodge, I think, is the name of the street.
They're done right. I forget the retailer. But they like that corner lot because they want to be able to, that gets them access to get to the hotel off of 1431 on an access road. And if you go up we went up to Lago Vista Village. If you go up to the village, you can, as you all know, you can see the lake. And so they just imagine being 4-story house from 4 stories tall from that building, and people could still see the lake.
Got it.
Yeah, they called me after the tour, and I'll tell you this. I already told Eric. They said the most impressive thing that they noticed during the tour was just simply how clean the community is. They specifically said they're just like, it's fantastic. It's probably one of the cleaner communities that they've seen, and they loved the tour. They loved they loved everything about the community. They liked the idea of going, as Eric mentioned, 3-4 stories high, and then maybe having those maybe the rooms on the top floor, being able to see across, see down on the water. But it didn't seem like the tour could have gone any better. As Eric mentioned, the biggest hang up, of course, is financing. Financing sometimes for hotels is tough, even in a normal world. But right now with COVID, it's banks are somewhat skittish to lend into the hospitality industry. So that's we're working different angles. As Eric mentioned, these guys prefer to go to local banks, keep the money local. So they're talking to a couple folks locally, and then I've connected them with some lending brokers out of Birmingham that are currently lending. They're doing some lending for hospitality. So see if they might be able to help them out. So we're kind of attacking that from different angles. The next biggest question, of course, is if they come in, if they're able to get their financing in line, what I guess I've mentioned this to Eric and Josh a couple times, but they've asked me a couple times what the city is willing to come to the table for the partnership, a public-private partnership, and what the city is willing to do to help them along the way. So that's the next big question.
Any more questions on that?
I'm assuming that would come into play once they get their financing squared away and figure out the concept and the design in which they want to do, and then for us to sit down as a city with them and determine what their needs are and go from there.
And do you guys, are they looking for financing? For example, if I know some commercial lenders that may be, in that arena that they're looking for, is that information I'm okay to pass along to you guys?
Definitely.
Okay. All right. Just making sure.
Yeah, absolutely. If anyone knows of any, of any opportunities in the financial side, then that would be a huge benefit. Just to provide more options, and then, like Councilman Williams said, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's going to come to where once they present their concept, and we know what we're looking at, that's absolutely that's the point when we start talking about that. And that's what I've told those guys too. I was like, well, you're going to have to. You're gonna have to bring your full hand to the table before the city's gonna know what they're looking at to see how they would partner with it.
And I actually talked to the dad, and the dad was we talked about the city and the public-private partnership. Of course, we could do some permit waiver fees, of course, a 380, but if they did, they are working with a sit-down restaurant chain that they know a couple of they talked about even reaching out to them, but I also told them if they did a conference room in that area, a convention-like conference room, and let the city have some access to that on the base, we might could do some type of thing, but where we go in at that conference room and can use that conference room at the city's request and do something like that. But again, that, like Councilman Williams said, all that comes to play once they get their finance and we get on down the line in this process.
Right.
All right, with that, and I know Chris now is coming up for their year 2 of their exhibit, so we would go before council on that again. When we first started out, the contract has already been approved. It's for a 3-year contract, but option year 2 and 3 have to go before council for approval. So we'll be going for them, looking like on the 17th. So hope to see Chris back then. Any more questions for Chris before he jumps off or he stays on or what?
Mr. Mayor, you have any questions for Chris? Okay.
Well, thank you, Chris.
Absolutely. And if you guys, as always, if you have any follow-up questions that you think about after the fact, shoot them through Eric, shoot them to me, however you like to do it. But yeah, please let me know if you have any other follow-up questions.
All right, with that, we'll move to item number 3, Mayor Tidwell Lago Economic Recovery Program. And we appreciate Mayor Tidwell getting on here. I think his daughter's getting married today. And so he spent a few minutes of time to hang out with me. So, hey, Mayor Tidwell, we'll let you go with that.
All right. Well, luckily, I had my dates wrong. The wedding was yesterday, so there's no conflict with the wedding. It's over and done with. But so, Eric, are they familiar at all with the LERP at all?
No, they're not. I don't, unless they heard it from, I know Councilman Williams is kind of familiar with it, and Josh was going to jump on too. I don't think that the committee is not familiar with it.
Okay, so this all started back in the springtime when the coronavirus relief funds were made available to local cities. For Lago Vista, because we're in a county that has over 500,000, we could not get funding directly from the government, from the federal government. We had to go through Travis County to get our funding. So it took forever to get Travis County to release money to us. Matter of fact, they were the last county of 254 counties in the state of Texas to release funds to their smaller cities. But that once they did, that gave us a total of $291,000 that was available for coronavirus relief. Through that, we have already accounted for most of the coronavirus related stuff that the city had to pay for. So that's been covered. And actually, I need to update. It was 391,000. So about just under less than 150,000 went to cover city-related expenses. That left me with $243,000 to try and put into our economy somewhere, into our businesses, and try and help people recover. Complication was anybody in Lago Vista, any business in Lago Vista could not have received funding from any other source. So it was getting real tough to come up with a program that, that Travis County would approve. And when I do say they released these funds of $391,000, they didn't just give it to me. I have to submit something, and then they approve it. So finally, I came across this program out of Edinburgh, Texas, where they had started this business grant program. And basically, it works as a gift card. And so the city would take businesses would apply, and they would check to make sure that they hadn't received funding from other sources. And if they hadn't, then they were eligible to receive the business grant. And the way they would do it is they produced these gift cards. They handed them out to citizens that had applied and been and qualified as being able to receive these gift cards. Well, then the citizens could take and spend this money at the businesses. And so I have modeled our program after theirs, and it's called LERP, the Lago Vista Economic Recovery Program. And so we have printed up 5,000 $50 gift cards. Well, they're being printed. They're not in our hands yet, but they're in the printing process. So we'll have 5,000 $50 gift cards. Starting, I don't know, hopefully next week. If not sometime this week, we will start the application process. All your citizens that want to participate can apply for the gift cards. There are a few restrictions, and they're outlined in the application. Basically, their income level and some hardships that are related to the coronavirus and stuff. So there are some restrictions on it, but they're minimal, I'm going to say. So most of our citizens will be able to qualify for the gift cards, and then they'll be able to take these $50 gift cards and spend them at Lago Vista businesses that have applied and been deemed eligible to participate in the grant program. So hopefully this will hopefully everybody will sign up and participate. The money's going to get distributed one way or the other. So if I have 2,000 households apply, everybody will get roughly I don't know, 2, maybe 3 of the $50 gift cards. If I only have 1,000 households apply, they may be getting 4 or 5 of the $50 gift cards. But we're going to, because I can't give the money back. Well, I can. If I don't spend it, they'll take the money back. So my plan is to definitely make sure I spend all $243,000. So this should help. It's for retail business, retail goods and services. It's not just for goods. So if a business, like a hair salon or something, long as they haven't received funds, if they want to apply and are eligible, then someone could use their $50 gift card to go to the hair salon. The businesses, once they receive these gift cards, all they have to do is come back to the city and redeem it for the cash. So that's the program. Any questions?
Yes. How do we go about getting all the businesses to sign up for this
Well,
program?
Meredith and Eric and I have been working on the application process. We've pretty much got the application paperwork actually finished. I am waiting on Travis County. They are meeting today. They're going to tell me what businesses are in Lago Vista are not eligible because they have received funding from county sources. I think there's only 4. So we should be able to kick off the application process, any day now. It's just a matter of seconds, moments when we can launch it. So we will just have to do a public information shotgun blast and get the word out to as many businesses and residents as possible. And that's where, Eric's going to come in, hopefully Elaine with the chamber, president's council. Everybody we can tap into that can shotgun blast this advertisement and make sure people are aware of it and start filling out the applications.
Okay.
Anything else?
Unless
No.
we're still tweaking the application, Mr. Mayor. I do have the first draft. If you want me to share it, I can. But it's not complete. We kind of have a different date on there now. But if you wanted me to share it just to show, I can pull it up.
Okay. Well, yeah, you might as well share it to see. Just let everybody take a look at it and see if they see anything that maybe they want to add to it, or if they have a question of why something is on the application, we can explain it.
Dave, can you make me the presenter, please? Yep. So let me get to it. So here is, can y'all see that? I'm blocked out. Let's see. Do y'all see it?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, this is the basic. This is the application we've got so far. It'll have there's 2 different applications, one for residents and one for businesses. The businesses are pretty much have already gone over. They're for them basically they just can't have received funds from other sources. There are some things they have to meet, like they have to show that they had a hardship due to Corona. But how hard in this world today, how hard is it going to be for any business to show that they've had a hardship due to the coronavirus? I'm pretty sure most of our businesses can check that box. And then we got residents. There's some income restrictions to start with. Well, every program that I've seen out there, the maximum you can earn is 120% of the average income for the county, medium income level for the county. Well, our county is like 80 something $1,000 for a family of 4. So there's one of the sheets actually has the breakdown, but the income levels for our median area, for our area is just, it's very high.
Yeah, Eric, I think it's up higher if you'll move the.
As I'm having user error, I believe.
Yeah, I listened there a minute ago of how.
I saw it, yeah.
Oh, it was on the
It is
residential.
farther down.
Mr. Mayor, I also see that there's 2 deadlines on this application.
There it is. There it
There
is.
it is.
Yeah, so you can see for a single person, the max is $82,000, all the way up to, a family of 10. But I'm thinking most of our families will qualify based on those adjusted median income levels, average median. So yes, there are deadlines. I have to show Travis County that I have accounted for all of my funding, that 391,000 by October 31st. And the reason for that is so that they have a deadline of December 31st on their end. So they want to be able to go in, review all of our projects and plans, make sure they were done like we said they would be done, and get final approval so they can reimburse us our money. And they want 60 days to be able to do that. And then if there's funds left over, they want to be able to see if they can get that pushed out in November or December and get that money spent. So they set themselves a little leeway to handle the money at the end. So I don't, like I say, we've already the 150,000 that the city expenses, the county has already approved those and has already sent us the money on all but one item. They have agreed to my grant program, the LERP program. I just had to coordinate with BLC of Austin to make sure there was no duplication in the funding. So if I don't see them rejecting our program come the end of October 31st, because they've already pre-approved it. So we want to be able to get the coupons, the gift cards. We want to be able to get those in the residents' hands as fast as possible so they can start spending them. But we don't. So we want to get those pushed out as fast as possible. And then that gives us time. Hopefully we'll give the residents like 90 days, October, November, December, to actually spend those gift cards and get that money out there.
Eric, can you go back to the application? Scroll back.
This is for the this is the
right there. So it shows that for businesses, they have to be signed up by the 15th of the month, of this month. Today's the 8th, and they have to be signed up by the 15th. Is that correct?
That'll change.
Okay. Okay.
This was just our tentative rough draft.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But like I say, because I thought Travis County was going to tell me who was not eligible 3 weeks ago. And so here it is, September 8th, and I've been told that today is the day. But okay. I don't know, I may get an email tonight or tomorrow saying, oh, they've delayed it another week. So I can't say, but I'm at that point now that I don't want to delay too much longer. because if we only have 4 businesses that are ineligible, I think we could probably figure out who those 4 are.
Okay,
So, yeah, I don't want to wait too long.
okay. I'm good.
I'd have liked to have done this in July, but oh my God, working through the county it's a nightmare.
I actually think it's a good
And
thing that
yeah, so
shopping season, so people be able to use it during the shopping season of Thanksgiving, November. But Thanksgiving and Christmas is a great resource for the city to have. And Mr. Mayor, you want to tell them, like, if you go into, for instance, if Sonic scene and you go spend, you have a $50 gift card and you only spend 20 at Sonic, you get 30 back that you still can cash back. You still go spend other places. So it's not just
yeah, so yes,
gift
that is
card,
correct.
you get cash back.
You get cash back from the merchant that you, in other words, it's not an amount subtracted from the card. You actually get the difference back in cash.
Yes,
Yes.
Whoa.
yes. So yeah, it is actually, and when you see it, I don't have a picture of it, but uh,
How long will it take the retailer, for example, to get his money back on the card?
as soon as he walks to City Hall and turns it in.
Okay. Because I mean that could represent a pretty healthy cash shortage for a retailer if you got a bunch of them and had to give cash back.
Right. Yes. No. It's dedicated funds, and it'll be maintained uh, as a cash basis, like a what do you call that? Like a petty cash box or something. Um, it'll have its own separate thing and be cash. So when they come in, they just redeem it for cash.
Okay.
And the gift cards are actually designed to look like money. Uh, Somebody had sent me a link that showed where local governments can actually print their own money um, if they have an economic, if they have monetary funds to back it up. They can't back it up with federal dollars, but they can back it up with local dollars. Um, so when you see the gift cards, they're actually made to look like $50 bills, but much better looking than the federal dollars. Um, so yeah, it'll be handled like cash. Um, if somebody only spends $20, they'll get $30 back to spend elsewhere. In that sense, if they take that $30 and spend it at another Lago Vista business, now it has become a force multiplier, and we've pumped $80 into the economy instead of just 50. So um, it could, in theory, could have a much larger economic impact than just 243,000. So
And also, as Meredith put in the chat, it cannot be redeemed for tobacco, liquor, lottery, firearms. So of course you can't redeem it for those.
yes, no tobacco, liquor, or lottery. Um,
But I suggest that you really make it clear with the businesses that are going to sign up that they have the responsibility to return cash back to the purchaser, because they're going to have to
yeah,
think about that a little bit.
they will all be issued an instruction. There will be instructions that come along with it because all of them will have security watermarks on them, so they will have to know how to read the watermarks and everything, so that people aren't trying to run them through the copy machine and make more. They're serialized, serialized, and they have an orange watermark on them. So we're trying to make them as secure as possible, but in accordance with that, we will be teaching them how to redeem them. And
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Any more questions from the program for the Mayor Tidwell?
Sounds interesting.
All right. Well, thank you,
Good
Mr.
work.
Mayor.
Good work.
240,000 to put in the economy. That's, you
Yeah.
know, and it goes both ways, residential and business.
Nice
So
kick.
Nice pick. Yes, it is. Right before Santa Claus. Can't beat that.
we're hoping.
Mhm.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Mayor.
All right. Well, if you don't have anything else for me, then I'm going to log off and let you continue your meeting, and I'll see you. I'm still in Virginia right now, so I'll see you later. I probably won't see you till next week. So
Thank you,
Safe
Mayor.
travels. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor.
bye bye.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 4, Economic Development Director business items. I pretty much covered most of my business items as we went through the agenda on the meeting. Anybody else want to add to any business items, anything they want to add, please do.
I heard today that there's a new restaurant that opened yesterday at the Island. If you remember, there was a restaurant that was there. I can't remember, Brios, and then whatever happened after that. But I guess they opened yesterday, so that helped the people who are staying at the Island. And
Actually,
rentals
It was-
I think it opened on Saturday night, and we went there Sunday for brunch. It was Baker's, where Baker's was at the Lago Vista
Golf club.
house,
Golf
and
house,
they
yeah.
moved to the Island. And so the whole crew that was there just moved there. Same menu,
okay.
same food and everything. And equally good. We used to go there every Sunday for brunch after church. So we tried it out. They were doing a very nice job.
Oh,
And
good.
apparently
Tell me the name again. It starts with L. Layla's, or what was it?
Laylene's, I think it's Lyenes.
Okay.
I don't know where it came from, but it was
It was really John Baker.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Same as the same. They have their regular brisket. They did have some really nice things. We were pleasantly surprised, and they were actually fairly, but it's not easy to get in, and it's not easy to park. There's nothing keeping you out except that you just can't figure out. It's not easy to get in there. There are about 3 different cars almost gave up, but then you get in there and it's hard to figure out where you're supposed to park. But
Where to go and the code to get in. You're right. It's always been challenging.
right.
All right. With that, and Councilman Williams, you got anything else to add? Yes, he's not.
I don't see him on the screen.
He's on there, but I think he's not.
He's there.
With that, I don't have anything else. Anybody else have anything else? Any ribbon cuttings coming up, Elaine, or?
I did one on Friday. It's for a new trail that opened in the Warbler Vista section of Balcones Canyonlands. I didn't advertise it because they wanted to have only 10 people with masks to be, since they're federal government, to be compliant. But there's a brand new parking lot and a trail and a map at the back of Warbler Vista. So check it out if you get a chance.
So what is it called? Something Navy, the store that opened up
The
in
Wild Navy, I had a ribbon cutting there. That woman is doing tremendous. She can't keep the stock in fast enough, and it sizes 2 to 3XL, and people are really shopping. She, is even talking about expanding. So that is a great success story. The other ribbon cutting I did was at, what used to be called the terraces, or the upstairs of where the grill is. And this woman is leasing that for a wedding or special events. So of course that's the patio and the lovely dining room. I don't know how she's doing that, but that's the other one. And then there's a new chiropractor that's going to open. They haven't scheduled their ribbon cutting yet, and with the name of Lakeside Chiropractor, and they're getting a location up above Lago Vista Academy. So that great big building that is being remodeled has new owners now. A chiropractor is coming in there.
Yeah. I'd like to also mention this is just community information, but normally the POA has a bazaar at the K Oaks, in November. Well, this year they're going to try an interesting experiment. They're going to have a bazaar, but it will be at the campground. Okay?
Interesting.
So it'll be open air, and everybody will be able to social distance. It'll be on November 14th from 10 in the morning till I believe 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So it's an opportunity for people to get out and do something for once, and it should be a pretty interesting deal. So I pass the word.
How is the Sunday farmers market working?
As I don't know, but I think they're doing okay.
Yeah, I think they're doing real well. They do it on Friday and Sunday.
Today?
Also, St. Mary's is doing something similar instead of being in the campground in the St. Mary's parking lot. And their bazaar and lunch is a different weekend than the POA's, but I can't remember if it's the weekend
idea.
before or the weekend after.
Well, your friendly Lions Club will be supplying the food at the POA event, so.
And Meredith, for you, I did talk to the guy with Lago Bistro, the one that is opening where Catherine Fields used to be. Sent him a lot of information. He wants to get open. He certainly has ambitious goals for that small parking lot, but I got that going anyway, sent him the information. So that could be another ribbon cutting coming up, but he hasn't joined quite yet.
Yeah, I just spoke with him too, Elaine. But Elaine, don't you have coffee with the chamber? Is it too late to do that for Thursday? Don't you have coffee with the chamber? Virtual?
Coffee with the Chamber is Thursday. I'm just having one of my board members, Emily Diekman, speak on real estate because I did sign up for Zoom, but I want to be cautious so that I didn't want to, if it didn't work, the speaker wouldn't be mad. So I'm going to do that. And then in November, I'm hoping to do that Broken Hearts and, anyway, the shelter for battered women and children. Yeah. I'm going to have her speak in November, and that'll be good timing, I think, for her. So I'm going to try virtual meetings. I'm not trying virtual lunches yet with 70 people. I can't visualize how that would work, but Alejandro seems to be successful at it, but I'm going to start with the coffees. And 26 people responded already for that coffee. So it's true that people are interested and want to connect. As difficult as this is, like Chris says, it's awkward and it's not the same, but it's better than nothing, and people want to do stuff.
Yes.
Right.
We'll see how that goes.
Well, good. With that, I want to thank everybody again. Thank Chris with Retail Strategist. Thank Mayor Tidwell for being on with us today as well. Again, everybody try to stay safe with COVID-19. School is back in, and of course, football is back. So hey, I'm excited. So, even though Chris' team is not the best team, but football is back, and so gets to see some Cowboys, LSU football. So I'm happy about that. I hope everybody stays safe, and we are tentative to our next meeting will be October the 13th. So we see everybody then. Stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go Tigers.
Thanks there.
Yeah.